Hi, we're here today with, and I can feel my voice already getting calmer because I'm on the video line with Pam, just simply Pam Gold. Met Pam not too long ago, and she's just got a way about her. Very ethereal, very just letting things happen, letting things flow, and beautiful things tend to happen to her and everything around her. So I'm just going to have her introduce herself, and then we're going to talk about a few things that Pam is working on that I think will be really interesting to you as a parent, as a woman, as a working woman. And she's got a really special program that I want her to be able to share with you just from her mouth straight. So I will turn it over to Pam to say hello and to tell you a little bit about who she is and what she does.
Oh, thanks so much, Gab. It's such a pleasure to be here with you today. So I'm Pam Gold, and my story is a very kind of long, very here, there, jump around. But the latest part of my story, I became a mom 12 years ago. My daughter's birthday was yesterday. She's 12, which blows my mind. And 12 years ago, I left kind of the workforce. I was always kind of the right hand to chairman, CEO, very career oriented. I took a company public when I was 24. I was point person on IPO, and so had this very intense career. And then when I had my kids, I was lucky enough to be able to stay home with them and made that choice. It felt right for me at the time. And I co-founded West Village Parents, which I'm so excited about the Mogul Moms community because it really reminds me of the community that I was such a beautiful part of for so many years in West Village Parents. And then, over the years being a mom, I got really into fitness and nutrition and wellness because I really felt like there was a lot of stuff I didn't know about being as healthy as possible. And I kind of started from the outside in because that seemed logical. I was like, okay, I could definitely be in better shape. Okay, I definitely could be healthier. And so I did all that and got super passionate at personal training and fitness and, nutrition specialist and yoga teacher. And there was still I was like, well, I'm in great shape. I'm super strong physically, but there's still some stuff going on inside that I know I need to care for. And so meditation really became the vehicle that kind of cracked the code for me and helped me figure out what my real creativity was, get really healthy from the inside out. And over the last couple of years, I was running a behavioral therapy-based food and weight program. And I learned a lot about behavioral therapy while I was there. But it was during those years that it became really clear to me that I was meant to kind of transition and do my own thing. And I still wasn't really sure what that was. And so we could talk more about that. But over the last year, I left that job running that company. I wrote a book, literally in 2 weeks, I wrote a book and self-published that, launched my company Gold Evolution with this mission of kind of shining a light on our inner peace being the key to our greatest outer achievement and ultimately world peace. That kind of was the big aha, I need to share this with the world. It's it has to happen from the inside out. And then over the last year, it's been kind of what am I going to do with this? How is this going to bubble up and turn into a real business where I can really be of service? So then literally last month, I just felt this calling to create a parenting program. And then last week, I realized it was called Peace Power Parenting. I launched last week with a small beta group. And so I'm doing it. And I'm really excited to kind of be of service in this way, sharing what I know about inner peace, about tapping into our power and the power of relationships and love and proper boundaries and all the things that our kids need to be healthy through this Peace Power Parenting program. Super psyched.
No, it's excellent. I want to delve into that, but I touched on something before that is interesting to me, and meditation. And I think it plays to a bigger point. I think as women, as parents, we don't take even 5 minutes half the time just to take a breath, and meditation for me, I don't hours of it at a time. There's some guided ones that I always defer to when I'm having challenges in one area or another. But just to take those few minutes and do that is so amazing. And it opens up channels and lets ideas come. And you were talking about letting ideas flow. I mean, explain how, more in depth of how your best ideas have just come to you when you have consciously opened your channels.
Yeah, well, so before I even dive into that, I think you hit on something that is so important, and that is self-care, right? And I think all of us, especially as moms, as human beings, so many of us were kind of raised in this mindset of we need to be taking care of others, and we're only worthy of love and good enough when we are caring for others. And on some level, whether it's consciously that we realize that we're wired that way or it's subconscious, I promise we all have this. And it is one of our biggest opportunities to kind of shine a light on and heal. So we care for ourselves with the same depth and passion and commitment that we care for others in our life. And that is like the secret sauce right there. So shining a light on that is key, because if we don't pay attention to that, then we won't take the time to meditate. We won't take the time to get ourselves to the gym so we can be healthy. And some of us get ourselves to the gym, but we do it in this mindset of, oh, it's another thing we have to do so we can look good enough from the outside in, instead of this mindset of and heart set of going to the gym to feel healthy from the inside out. And it's a very different spirit with which we go about doing the same thing, which then impacts the results, which sounds strange. So meditation was really the practice that, as you said, opened this all up for me. And I guess one of the analogies to explain it, one of the analogies that I use anyway, is if, you know, when you go to a movie theater, right? Have you ever sat in the front row of a movie theater where you're like, boom.
Painfully, yes.
It's horrible.
Against my will.
Yeah, it's horrible experience.
Yes.
Like, so intense. It's like too much.
Yeah.
That's like life. That's like being human. From the moment we were born, we're sitting in the front row of this loud, intense, dramatic movie. And that is our external life, everything that's happening, and our thoughts. Like our thoughts are that too. And just put a pin in that for now. But our thoughts are like the movie. It's part of the movie that's running across the screen. And starting to meditate is like realizing that, wait a minute, I can get up from that front row. I can go to the back of the theater. I can maybe have a drink. I can relax. I can kind of turn down the volume, maybe turn up the lights. Take some time to just...
And achieve clarity. Even if it's 5 minutes of clarity, you have it, you know, more than before.
Loud, and it pulls us. Another analogy is like, you ever seen someone walking a really big dog, like a little person walking a really big dog, and the big dog is just dragging the person around? That's like what the movie and our brain, our thoughts do to us most of the time. We get dragged around. So getting in the back of the movie theater is like, wait a minute, I'm taking my power back. I'm going to get centered. I'm going to get clear so I can figure out how I want to respond. Do I want to get sucked into the movie for the next hour? Do I want to kind of like observe the movie and decide what I'm going to take of this movie to then choose my own adventure? Because the cool thing is, the reality is that we don't realize we have the power to choose our own adventure in the movie. We are not victims to the movie. Most of us spend a lot of time in victim mode, letting the movie pass us by and this, that, and getting thrown around, beaten up, feeling like we have no power over the movie. We're disempowered. Meditation gives you the power to realize that, wait a minute, this is not just a going by kind of movie. This is a choose your own adventure kind of movie. And I actually have the power to impact this freaking movie and change it by what I do and how I respond to what is coming at me from the movie theater, from the screen. And it's the coolest thing in the world.
I think you couldn't put it any better. Like that makes sense to everybody. Everybody knows what it's like to go to, you know, like to whatever, like to go to a movie or you know, feel like you're pulled by something. I couldn't put that better. I mean, and that makes total sense. I love the idea that you let something happen to you and you let this idea come to you with the parenting program. But I would love for you to explain a little bit more about what it does and who it's going to impact and really just, you know, what your vision for it is.
So the parenting program, my vision for it is basically sharing everything that I know from the inside out and the outside in. So I have a kind of unique background because of my meditation and kind of the spiritual learnings and experiences that I've had, that I understand, you know, boundaries and relationships and trust and respect kind of from the inside out, and how to feel your way through that, because all of that stuff is an art. There's no such thing as like science. Like you have to be in the present moment and feel out what's going on in context. You couldn't come to me and say, Pam, okay, here's the situation. You know, I was with my daughter last night and, you know, she was yelling at me over dinner and da-da-da-da. It's like the real information is like you being in that moment and feeling out and getting a sense like, is she tired? Did she have a rough day at school? Like, is there more going on? Is she feeling vulnerable? Is she feeling whatever? And feeling it out in the moment. And so what my vision is for Peace Power Parenting is to empower parents from a place of their own kind of inner peace and inner knowing and inner sense of being in the moment, present moment with their child, being empowered to be what the kids need to be empowered themselves and be healthy. So it's like literally like surfing or co-creating with your child so you can come from this place of peace to figure out what your kid really needs in that moment. Because sometimes they do need you to put down a boundary. And other times it may seem exactly the same from the outside in, but what they really need is a hug, you know? And only you.
I'm so glad you said that, because I mean, that applies to our parts in life. We all have moments where we get angry, or people get angry with us, and you just, why are they feeling that way? And why are we, reacting like this to each other? And the truth is, maybe that person just needs, like, exactly like you said, a hug, or needs love, or needs compassion. And it's just coming out in the completely wrong way, and I think we need to remind ourselves,
and even that
respond with love.
Yeah. And even because we're so wired to be judgmental, right? We're wired to be like good, bad, right, or wrong, and the reality is that is not serving us. That is actually blocking us in that moment to really feeling out what's really going on and being a deeper listener, like deeply listening. So I know when my kids are acting out, and I try to say like acting out or acting in destructive ways, out of alignment with what I know their big picture goals are. Like, I know my kids want to have a trusting, loving relationship with me. I know my kids want to be successful with their friends at school. I know my kids want to be successful in academics. Like, they want all that good stuff. Sometimes the choices that they make, the way that they behave, completely not in alignment with them getting those goals. And so when they do that, I always know that it's a symptom of something deeper going on, right? There's something deeper. When they're acting that way, it's a cry for help. It's a cry for, I'm not feeling good right now and I need help. And so then my job is,
it's so rare that when those things pop up, where your red flags go up, that's just not normal,
Yeah. And you hear it all the time. And I was raised this way. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you today? That's shaming. That's speaking to the being. And as a kid, I was like, oh, I don't know. What is wrong with me? Something's wrong with me.
Something must be wrong with me. Yeah, I know, right?
And then we're undermining their self-esteem. And this happened to us. So that's half of the parenting program is getting our own stuff in order, because it's our own stuff. Like, our kids trigger us more than anyone else will. And that's exactly what it's meant to be. This is an opportunity as us for parents to look back at our own childhoods and be like, okay, what haven't I healed yet? Like, what's the stuff that I'm still not feeling good enough? I'm still feeling shame. I'm still feeling unhealthy guilt. I haven't figured that stuff out yet. And our kids give us an opportunity to do this work. So actually creating a parenting program around this, it's like the perfect time for people to be like, oh yeah, you're right. Because like, I know for me, I was doing pretty good until I became a mom. Like, I was doing pretty good. Like, work was good. Life was good. My marriage was good. And then we had a kid and my marriage went to shit. And my sense of self, me feeling good enough, me feeling calm, me feeling clear, me feeling like I was doing good, went to shit, So I feel like offering a parenting program with these skills, with these insights, with these practices, because all this stuff is practice. Reading a book without doing the practice, you're not going to change anything. You have to change your thinking, then you have to change your behavior, right? And so it's like both. And that's why you have to come at it from the inside out and the outside in. But I'm super psyched because this stuff is powerful. It's true and it's powerful. And I know it can be of service, and it's going to help the kids as much as it's going to help the parents. And that's what just warms my heart and makes me super excited about it.
No, I think so too. And you mentioned, I think really, a lot of couples, marriage is hard enough. And even when you don't have kids, there's battles. You put two people together, to live for the rest of their lives. It doesn't always go as easily as you wish, right? There's not a lot of fairy tales.
It's not supposed to be easy.
Some people get the fairy tale. Most of us don't, right? We have to work on it.
I haven't really met any of those fairy tale people, really.
I think I see them on Facebook. That's what
I don't know if they're real.
I don't know that, those who have to present too much, you never know. But I think, in a big way, I mean, like the child can be such a source of happiness and also struggle between a couple. So I feel, without even taking your program, like I know that it's going to help people be able to better balance life with their partners as well. In addition
what's cool too, because all the skills, the insights, the skills, the practices that you'll be learning to work with your kid, to discipline them, to empower them, it all works on your partner in the exact same way. Because it's all based on trust and respect and communication and consistency and positivity and liberation, right? Like those are our core needs. And so when you learn how to honor the core needs and the core values that your children have, and honor them within yourself, and honor them for your partner, and then use some of the behavioral therapy techniques to kind of like get your needs met, because they don't even need to know you're doing it. Like I'm turning red because I feel badly because I'm like, I may do that to my husband sometimes, but it works. Behavioral therapy works, and love works. Love. And using our children as a pathway to really tapping into unconditional love. Because I think all of us as parents believe in unconditional love for our kids. It's tricky to practice because we can only be as loving as we love ourselves. That's why we got to do our work to figure out how to love ourselves more deeply and completely, because we can't really love our kids fully until we fully love ourselves. But we believe, at least most of us, that our kids can show us how to unconditionally love. And once we learn that through that relationship, we can also then have an easier time being that for our partner. Like really loving and accepting our partner wherever they are, and not, needing them to be perfect, not needing them to fill something for us, accepting them as the human being, imperfect, learning, growing, struggling, failing, setbacks, challenges, accepting and loving all of that in our partner, which
and learning how to work together. It's a puzzle, the two fit in some way. I'm different, they're different, and that's how it has to go. You have to find some way to fit and coexist, and not only just to do that, but to thrive together, to make each other better. And I think it sounds like the parenting program is doing that for the child and then for the couple as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much beautiful possibility for healing and for growth and for love. And actually, my husband and I'm a huge believer of therapy. We went to therapy for a long time. And our therapist once said that she didn't believe in unconditional love for adults. And I don't know if she meant romantic love, because I would agree with that. Romantic love is not unconditional. Like there'll be times when you're romantically attracted to that person, and there'll be times where you're like, get the hell away from me right now. And that is true. That is true. Right?
Yeah.
And I do believe in unconditional love for adults. It takes us loving ourselves unconditionally, which is a beautiful thing to shoot for, and I promise is attainable, and hard. And it's really attainable. So we have to love ourselves first, kind of going full circle back to the self-care point, that we can only care for others to the extent that we care for ourselves first. And really ask yourself honestly, in what ways am I not doing that? Because we may know that, we may say, oh yeah, put your oxygen mask on before others. And then in practice, moment to moment, we're not doing it. We're not honoring ourselves. We're not respecting ourselves. We're not caring for ourselves. We're not the voice in our head, how we speak to ourselves. It is, so important. And that voice in your head is going to keep being unhelpful at times, going to keep being negative at times, until you train it to stop doing that, which takes time. But in the beginning, you have to say, no, I'm not going to believe that thought, and I'm not going to follow that thought. And just take your attention elsewhere. It's kind of like training a dog. You have to train your mind and be like, no, I don't talk to myself that way. You wouldn't talk to your child that way. Don't talk to yourself that way inside of yourself. Catch yourself, flip it, make it funny. Like if you catch yourself saying, oh, what is wrong with me? Be like, I'm funny, aren't I? I'm not perfect.
What isn't wrong today, right?
But like literally, I still hear myself, what is wrong with me? And I'm like, oh, shush. I knew I wasn't perfect. I knew I make mistakes every 5 minutes, and have a sense of humor about it. In the same way you hopefully are doing for your children, that look, babes, I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. When you're not perfect, it's a learning opportunity. You get back up, you hustle. That's the stuff we want to be teaching our kids. But so many of us are wired to kind of know that, but not practice it with our kids, like hold our kids to high expectations, get disappointed in our kids. And our kids feel it when we get disappointed in them. And even if we don't say it, they feel it. And then they have their self-worth undermined. So one of the things I teach in my program is self-esteem, the 4 pillars of self-esteem, which are really important to learn and practice. Because there's 4 of them, and sometimes if we're not paying attention to all 4 and teaching our kids about all 4, that's when peer pressure becomes a huge issue. So these are just, I could talk for 18 hours, which is why I made a program, because
no, but I love it. And
I do talk for 18 hours.
Where can people actually access this? How can they, is there still time, or does it go on a rolling basis, or how can people access it if they want?
I'm doing the beta launch now, which is me creating it really for the first time and learning and working one-on-one with people to really make sure I'm normalizing the challenges and having it land where people are. So important. So you can learn more about the program by going to peacepowerparenting.com. And right now kind of the sales page is up there, but it says like it's closed right now. And if you want to enter the waiting list or sign up for the waiting list, there's actually a pop-up that will come that gives you the 4 keys to Peace Power Parenting, which if you get that, then you'll be on my mailing list, and then you'll learn information when I release more, and you'll get like 5 tips or so that I send after you get the PDF. You know, I'm trying to learn the marketing and do the marketing as you're supposed to do the marketing.
Well, you're doing well, because I read your newsletters and I feel like I learn more about the program, and when I'm ready, I will take it. You know, there's such a thing called spare time, which I have none. I'm running on a deficit. So.
Yeah, no, but you're giving right now. I mean, you just took on a new child, right? Like, or a garden. You just said, okay, I'll take on this garden, and you have a responsibility now to tend to that garden, which is beautiful, and it's of service, and it's going to light up your soul.
I love it. Well, I can't thank you enough for talking to us today, and to really open our eyes to how important it is just even, you know, taking a few minutes and doing things for yourself to become your best self. And I think you're all about that. And I know that came through today. So I encourage everybody to check out the program, check out Pam. And, you know, remember to love yourself. I always say the same thing too. It's, you know, I mean, be happy and laugh at yourself, exactly what Pam said, because if you can't do that, life is going to be pretty fucking hard. So, you know, laugh with your kids and make it a journey. And then where else can people find you if not the parenting page?
And also goldevolution.com is the brand, or my original like a year ago, and I didn't know what the heck I was doing. So there's a lot more content. I wrote a book called Find More Strength, 5 Pillars to Unlock Unlimited Power and Happiness. You can get the first chapter of that free at goldevolution.com. There's a 7-minute morning meditation that's free at goldevolution.com. So lots of free stuff. I'm all about free value and sharing, being of service. It's definitely where my heart's at.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Gab. I love you, honey. I'm proud of you. I'm cheering you on.
I love you too. Thank you.